I'm Tamara Mobley-Rosenthal and working 120 hours at the local public health office. I was able to play a huge role in bringing health awareness to the community through health promotion. Over the next few minutes, I will share with you a small portion of my entire rewarding experience. Next slide, please. Within my presentation, I will discuss an introduction, giving you a little insight into the practicum site, as well as some of the overall services that we provided. Next, some specific duty areas, highlighting some of the detailed work that I was involved in, followed by some approaches I took to enhance my learning experience. And lastly, the outcomes of some of my goals and objectives I originally set out to accomplish, and concluding with a summary. Next slide, please. The Public Health Office of Portales, New Mexico is a local facility. It provides a multitude of services to the community. It serves adults, children, families, teenagers with or without their parents' consent. And most of their clients do not have health insurance. It's located in fairly central area of the city. It is in a busy area, no high traffic location. It's easy accessible. The facility consists of trained and certified professional staff. We have 2 registered nurses. One is the office manager over everything, and she was also my practicum preceptor. And their duties are STD testing, pregnancy testing, birth control methods, immunizations, this syringe exchange program. We also have 2 health educators, and both who are retired school teachers, and they work very closely with the schools and with the city to bring programs into the community. Additionally, we have 3 WIC specialists who interview and sign families up for the program. We also have 1 resourceful receptionist that helps everything stay calm and runs very smoothly. She's very important asset to the office. We also have 1 nurse practitioner that comes in weekly, and she performs some specific tasks with our clients. We also have 1 Families First specialist that comes weekly, and she just works with expecting mothers, mothers that have given birth up to 3 years, and making sure that they have the services that they need. We also have 2 children's medical service specialists that come monthly, and they work with kids with special needs such as asthma or diabetic care. Next slide, please. Now that I've given you a small introduction of the staff and some of the services that we do, we will move on to the meat and the potatoes, the special duty areas that I was personally involved in. My initial focus was sexually transmitted diseases and infections. In New Mexico, it's the 5th most sexually transmitted diseased state, and working under the direction of the registered nurses, I was able to work with cases of chlamydia and gonorrhea and bacteria vaginitis and syphilis, and we didn't have any HIV positive, but we did test for it. But Hep C and tuberculosis and other foodborne infections, and we battled these by testing and treating as needed, as well as education. Education was huge with all the clientele, just to make sure that they understood their lifestyle and how to prevent these infections. Next slide, please. Another specific area was community outreach. I participated in multiple programs outside of the clinic while working with the health educators, produce to the people, as well as teaching with the senior citizens. So with that, we were able to really get face-to-face with the people. We handed out information, as well as giving them some of the things that we use, like the fruits and vegetables, as well as the infused water. We talked about health topics with the senior citizens, and also gave them information to take home. So that was very rewarding, to be in the faces and touching, and like a tangible experience for the community. Next slide, please. Now, moving on to some approaches that I practice to enhance my learning experience. For starters, I educated myself on all that I was learning and being exposed to. I wrote down almost everything that I heard, that I was listening, that I watched, that people were telling me, and my first week was overwhelming. I got very mentally drained, but after a while, I learned how to balance my intake and able to settle it in my mind. So I was very busy mentally. But another approach was community programs. So I'm a doer, as I've been mentioning before. I love to go out into and meet the people and get hands-on experience. So I worked a lot with the health educators. So we went into the schools, and we have a health garden. That's one of the big programs that we checked into, and that was wonderful to see the progress of that garden. And we teach the kids about fresh herbs and fresh vegetables and fruits, and how important it is to add it to your diet. We also did a new program, Walking Towards Better Health, and I went with the health educators, and we went out and we walked and we recorded trails and tracks and parks, location and length and time, and we created a booklet so that the people of the city can have something for additional physical activity. Next slide, please. Lastly, I want to discuss some outcomes of the goals and objectives that I originally set out to accomplish as I was preparing for my practicum. Like one goal is understanding the planning and coordination process. And I did this by attending, goodness, weekly staff meetings. I did monthly regional health council meetings, emergency management meetings. I also, again, assisted with new programs and evaluated existing programs. And goal two, I wanted to understand how they collected the data and what they used it for. So I got a chance to get into their programs of data collection and statistical archiving. So I learned a lot about their data systems and gathering, and how they upload into the system for the state to look at each day, each week we had to do that. And I also assisted in client interviews, and I took notes daily on necessary information that the clients were giving. And my third goal was to gain the knowledge and to build skills required to teach and instruct. And weekly, I learned, I picked up, I developed skills, and I was able to teach at least 5 clients and group sessions on various health topics. And that was very rewarding for me as a student to get evaluated on my knowledge that I was learning all the time and writing down so much and looking up. So that was a rewarding. And again, all of this was estimated, I completed everything by August 2nd of 2017, and I started in July. I was very fortunate enough to take the time from work and just focus on my practicum. Next slide, please. In summary, I have shared with you an introduction of my practicum site and overall services that I offered, some specific duty areas, highlighting some of the detailed work I was involved in, some approaches that I took to enhance my learning experience, some outcomes of the goals and objectives that I started with, and working alongside the diverse professional staff and all that they offer. I gained so much knowledge and insight into an enormous amount of dedicated work that it takes to properly bring health into the community, health awareness, promote health, and that was our goal, and it was very successful. Next slide, please. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to email me via email as shown below. Thank you very much.